Ladies and gentlemen, your host for this evening, hailing from the northern shores of Lake Michigan and recording live from sunny Southern California, Mac Daddy Break Your Heart, the number one on the charts, Mr. Sinks the Shot, he's racing for the top, the reputable, the admirable, Roz.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to What in the World with Roz. Today, my guest is one of the most amazingly new, up-and-coming, talented actors in the business. Her name is Anjelika Washington. You may have seen her currently on Netflix, Tall Girl, and she's also starring in the CW project, STARGIRL. I know it's like almost a tongue twister having to say both of the girl titles there, but she's fantastic. She is Beth Chappell on there. How are you doing today, Anjelika? I know you've had a busy day already, so I'm thankful that you're here.
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. This is all like so fun. So yeah,
I'm glad.
It's been
I'm hoping we get to keep it light and fun. But I do want to start off because each show that we do, we kind of like to timestamp where we are in history. There's been a lot going on with the coronavirus. And then also we're about a month since the passing and one of the worst injustices in our country in the murdering of George Floyd. And I wanted to talk to you because it's actually been amazing. I met you through two of our friends, Lauren and Danny, and you and your friends are some of the most amazing activists I've ever met. And I wanted to kind of get into what you guys have been doing for the Black Lives Matter movement. And you guys are constantly out there pushing the needle. And I'd love to hear a little bit about what you guys have been doing and what steps you are fighting to see happen next in our country.
Thank you. First of all, that's so great and so sweet and kind of you. We have just been really pushing to make sure that police officers are holding each other accountable. I think that there won't be any change until there is accountability within their own industry. The same way in the entertainment industry, we hold each other accountable, So in that exact same world, they need to be doing the same. So what we have been doing is, of course, going out to all the police precincts. Of course, we've been at all the protests and doing all that stuff, but we've actually been engaging in conversation with lieutenants and officers at different policings around LA County and talking to them about a petition that we actually created to get police officers to do exactly that, hold each other accountable. So we've been getting different police stations to sign the petition saying that they condemn what had happened to George Floyd and having them commit, of course, to doing better within their own departments, but doing better as a whole and advocating for national accountability for all police stations. So that's what we've been doing. We've gotten like 4 police stations in LA County to sign so far, all backing this petition. So our goal is to just kind of like get through all of LA and California and just really hope that we can like make it a national thing, because it really should be national accountability. And we really are working to fight in general to making sure that whatever enforcement we have, of course, I've been pushing to defund police. I think most of our group is. We would like to invest that money back into our communities, and we would like to see a more community protection program versus like just police and law enforcement. So regardless, we would like it to be a national accountability, like a national set of guidelines and policy that everyone has to follow. So that way, if I'm Black in California, there won't be different laws against me if I'm Black in Alabama or if I'm Black in Maryland. I'm gonna be Black. So it shouldn't matter where I'm at. It shouldn't matter how I'm treated, So that's what we're pushing for.
Absolutely. And I'm curious, so the petition you guys have been working on has been here in LA. I know that's where most of you guys are based. Are you guys working to push that petition around the nation? Because it's not just in LA, obviously, it's our entire country. And for many, many years, are you guys pushing that to Atlanta, Chicago, other big hubs, Minnesota, where it should definitely be happening? Are you guys pushing that?
Yes. So what has been our goal so far is to get the LA County Police Department on our side, because it's a pretty large police force in general compared to like other counties around the country. So of course we are trying to get all of LA on board. And so once we can do that, we want to really go hard and push for the rest of the nation. But I think our strategy so far is if we can get LA to sign on, all these other counties won't have an excuse of why they can't do it. So that's been our goal so far, is just getting all of LA to do it. LA just has a really huge, a really, really large amount of different police departments within this LA agency. So that's what we're working on.
And I guess to wrap up this portion at least, what has been the majority of the responses? I was there in Burbank with you guys, and it was amazing to kind of listen into the conversation. What has been the consensus response you've been getting? I'm sure there's cops who aren't on board, but I'm hoping to hear that most of them are really hearing you guys out.
Right. For the most part, once we go out and we have a peaceful, civil conversation, they have been pretty open to hearing what we have to say. And really, once they hear our side of the story, none of them can disagree. None of the police officers can be like, oh yeah, we shouldn't be holding each other accountable. We shouldn't do that. Like, of course they agree. They're like, yes, of course we should. And of course, yes, that's the only way we're going to, resolve the civil unrest that's currently going on in the nation. Because I have, told them it's not going away. We're not leaving. This is happening, and you're going to be on our side, and we will dismantle you, and we will defund, and we will rebuild. So really, it's just better for you to just own up and say, yes, I'm open to change, and that's really the only way. So luckily, most have been completely understanding and agree with what we're saying, and agree that there should be a national policy, and they agree that that's the only way to do it. It's just really going to be them stepping up to be the ones to do it. I think too many of them are afraid they're going to lose their job. And I'm like, listen, we're defunding you, period. So you're going to lose some stuff regardless. So you might as well join the force. You might as well join our side in doing good and standing on the right side of history, and not on the side of history that is worried about your job. I'm like, why don't you be the change? We want to create a new, community-based protection program. So why don't you be a part of that movement? Like, that's what you should be fighting to do, not fighting to keep things the way they were if they weren't actually keeping people safe.
Yeah, I mean, like I said to begin this is absolutely amazing what all you guys have been doing to help push this forward. It's time for a revolution. I mean, America has been such a place filled with so many injustices since the beginning of America, since we moved on from the British. And I'm happy to see a bunch of the monuments being taken down that stood for the wrong things. And again, it's people like you and your group that are really, really keeping this thing going and keeping this fight going. It's amazing to see. I'm honored just to be on that text chain and to see all the amazing things you guys say and are doing, because actions speak louder than words. So thank you so much for everything you do, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. There's so much more I want to do. Also, it's just finding the time and the energy and the positive mindset to keep going. But you're right. I mean, it's all about keeping going, and finding a group like what we have of passionate people who are also all in here for one goal, and that is to make a change. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And honestly, for me, when we walked on Blackout Tuesday, just the unity I felt with everyone there and all the claims of non-peaceful protests, it was so peaceful. It was people coming together. And I really thank you guys for allowing me to be a part of that. That was really special.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming. I mean, it's been so great seeing how people are showing up. So it's great. It's a movement.
I'm glad. So I know this is a tough topic to switch off to, but I would like to have a little fun, talk about your career. It's amazing I've been watching STARGIRL, and we're definitely going to get into that. This next segment is called Around the World with Roz. So Anjelika, are you ready to go around the world?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Awesome. So where we start is where everyone starts, and that's the beginning of their journey, whether it's we talk about your hometown or how things begin. I love IMDb. I work at a talent management company, so we track to see where projects are at, but it never gives the full story of an actor. So I was curious if we could hear when acting came into your life. I know that watching Lauren and some other friends of ours, I've seen them on the stage very early on. I was curious, were you initially on screen, or was the first performances you ever participated in, honestly, in the theater?
Yes, mine were also in the theater. I did my first play when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
That my mom put me in because I talked too much in class. So I needed an outlet. So my mom was like, she talks too much in class. They're like, she's a great student. She just talks so much. So my mom put me in a play, and that was really fun. And then I didn't do anything acting wise at all until I was 15. When I got into high school, I failed a drawing and painting class, which like, that's not good. So you got to do
I'm right
something
there
else.
with you.
Yeah. And my high school had just done this amazing, beautiful performance of Fiddler on the Roof. And I was obsessed. So I was like, oh, I have to join theater again. I have to get back in the theater program. So then I did. And then, yeah, a few years later, here we are. And then I moved to LA when I was 18 because I was
Amazing.
like, yep, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm supposed to be an actor. That's what I'm going to do. And so I moved here when I was 18. Luckily, I had my family's support. And here we are. Here we are.
Yeah.
I worked at Starbucks right before I booked Stargirl and Tall Girl and all those other things. And so looking back on that, like literally like a year and a half ago, I was opening Starbucks at 3:45 a.m. And so I'm really glad that I'm not doing that anymore.
Well, it's definitely the LA hustle. And I've got to ask,
Yes.
when we go all the way back, right? So for me, I think everybody's great successes comes with failures. And then that point of recognition where like, hey, I'm past this failure. I'm going to go and still do this. I'm curious because for me, when I was entering the business side of things, I remember messing up 2 clients' names and somebody's roster, and I got chewed out for 30 minutes. I was like, do I want this to be the rest of my life, being chewed out and stuff like this? No, but it made me learn and become more prepared before going into meetings and talking with people. So I've got to ask you, was there ever a point in the theater or in your first kind of experiences on screen where you're kind of concerned about, hey, I might have just failed this one, and or if you never failed, which is very possible for you, where was it that you were like, this is it, I'm going to make it here, and I felt it like behind this performance I just gave?
That's a great question. I did this monologue in high school. I wasn't feeling well. I was sick that day, but I went to school anyway, only for that monologue. So I literally showed up 6th period because that was when the advanced drama class had class. So I only showed up for 6th period, and I did this monologue, and I like cried, and it was like this whole thing. And I just saw like my classmates' faces light up and my teacher like light up and be like, wow, I did not know that you could do that. Did not know that you had it in you to do all of that. And so that was the moment where I was like, oh yeah, yep, this is the moment. This is what I'm doing forever. And then also right after that, I had actually volunteered at the local hospital near me. And because I originally thought like I wanted to go to school to be a nurse or something like that. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll be a nurse. And I went and I volunteered for 1 day for 2 hours and was like, absolutely not. I hate it here. I never want to be in a hospital. Like literally it has to be life or death. I can't, I hate it. And so I feel so comfortable on stage. And so, yeah, that was pretty much it. And then for me, I guess like the biggest learning was I always knew I wanted to do TV and film. I always knew. So I was moving to LA and taking on-camera acting classes because it's very different on camera versus on stage. So I had a lot to learn, but I was open to learning. I was excited to learn, and that was it.
That's amazing. And again, here you are, which is so spectacular. We're going to shift over to the next topic, which is surrounding travel. I don't know if you've seen these shows. I just assume everyone has seen Game of Thrones, has seen the movies Lord of the Rings. Locations are huge when it comes to shooting a project. A lot shot in LA. I know a lot of people we work with are in Vancouver, but I have to ask you, where is a dream location for you to shoot one day, whether it's in a film or whether it's a TV series?
Wow, great question. I would like to go to, like, if I'm dreaming really big, like just dream really big.
It's going to happen regardless. So dream as big as you want it.
If I'm dreaming as big as I can, I was going to say like any country in Africa sounds fun, but I think I would pick like Egypt.
Wow.
I would just love to be in Egypt. I also just like really want to go there. It's actually on my vision board. So, I mean, for filming, that would be even better. I mean, but other than that, like maybe South Africa would be really awesome. Yeah, Egypt sounds really great. I don't know, Japan. That's not Africa, of course, but I don't know. I'm like, there's so many, but yeah.
Hopefully STARGIRL, they'll start traveling you around. I know Nebraska is a wonderful place to be, but maybe they'll get you out there in Egypt and you're saving the world over there. I mean, the entire world needs saving. So hopefully
the whole world does. Why not?
Exactly. So after travel, we head over to what I think is my favorite topic of this segment, and that's dealing with charity. So how we do it here at the show, based on every view, every new subscriber, every like, we donate whatever we make that week to a foundation. And I asked you, and you said the ACLU is your favorite charity. So we usually let you go into the impact it's had on you and why you're a big support of it.
Oh, yeah. The ACLU just does so much. I mean, not only for people of color, but for women, for all genders. They fight for anyone. They'll sue anyone and anything, and they usually win. So in LA, just recently, when the protests all had really started, they were starting to make the LA curfews like 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7
They were
p.m.,
brutal.
but not telling people until like 4:30, right? Like that type of crazy stuff, which is completely unacceptable, by the way. So then all of a sudden the curfew stopped, and people were like, oh, the curfew stopped because, you know, the protests are peaceful now. But no, the curfews did not stop because the protests were all of a sudden peaceful. The curfew stopped because the ACLU sued the county of Los Angeles. And so they could not do that, especially because restaurants were open.
Mm-hmm.
So if restaurants can be open later, they can't place a curfew on the general public when people have to be out, especially people were getting pulled over and arrested and ticketed for just coming home from work, which is completely unlawful. So I love the ACLU for that. They've also fought and sued many, many states for trying to ban abortion or to close down clinics that are helpful for women, like Planned Parenthood and just local clinics and things like that help people just in general. So yeah, love the ACLU, support the ACLU. The ACLU does so much for the people of this nation, and I'm so grateful to them. And I have given them a lot of my money. So anytime people ask me about donating, I'm like, ACLU, 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 we must support.
And that link will be below here. It's not currently, but it will be when we're done with editing. But
Great.
Check it out. Link will be right here to donate on your own. And of course, we will be donating. This episode airs obviously on Friday. And then for the whole week, we'll tally up the total and we'll get our check out to the ACLU as well. So I'm very excited about that and really hope everyone goes out and donates and does some research about it as well to see all the good they have done. We're moving on here. We move into the sports and entertainment topic of this segment. And for me, there's a lot of influences in my life. I mean, it's easy to pick your own parents as influences and role models, but I also looked up to athletes, entertainers, people in this business, and they've helped mold me into who I am. Which entertainers or actors are the biggest influences on your career and have helped guide you, even without knowing them, through your acting career?
Definitely Kobe.
Love that.
1000% Kobe. I was like deeply affected by the passing of Kobe. I mean, of course, and his daughter, everyone that was on that helicopter, it was just tragic in general. But definitely Kobe. And I actually didn't realize the effect Kobe had on me until all that had happened. But I have just grown up with a Laker family. Like, it is Laker Nation in there. My family loves basketball. They love Kobe. And we have like, we have like a little lawn thing that says like Laker Nation lives here, and it had 24 on it, that like just in so many ways. But also I think I have just watched interviews of him growing up, and of course my dad has talked about it, my brothers, like everyone just loves him as a person. I think what he stood for also was so important. Lots of quotes by him are always just so inspiring, and yeah, he's just a great girl dad. And I
Love
mean,
that.
my dad only has me, but he feels like he's like my girl dad. So yeah, just so inspired by Kobe for sure.
And perfect timing on that, as Father's Day was yesterday, and it really came back up. All the pictures of Kobe and Gianna. He really was a girl dad and really was pushing the advancement of women's sports, which is super important and is incredible. I mean, these are the top flight athletes. And I really loved seeing the trajectory he had mapped out in mind for the WNBA. He was really spectacular. And so that's an amazing pick for an influence.
Yeah, he's great.
We're going on. We've got food, which everybody loves. I haven't eaten yet today, so it's on my mind. Believe it or not, I've been on sets before, and I understand the importance of crafty. So I have to ask, if you were told, hey, you're going to be this successful actress, which you already are, for the rest of time, but you can only choose one item to show up at the crafty table every shoot you're on. What would that one item be? I know.
One item?
I know. I'm eliminating a lot. It's a tough question. Tough journalism
That's
here.
so hard. Well, the healthiest option would be roasted seaweed.
Okay.
Because it's like crunchy and salty, and there's multiple flavors, and it's like 5 calories for the whole thing. There's like no carbs, no sugar. And I actually really, really like roasted seaweed. So it would definitely be roasted seaweed. But if it was a bad snack, it would be hot Cheeto Puffs.
Those are really
I love
good.
hot Cheeto Puffs.
I've got to ask though. I mean, and it's LA, I guess, but roasted seaweed chips, you're saying. So if you chose that, you do know the rest of your castmates, that's the only thing they can eat too.
Yeah, it'd be great.
And you'd keep a very healthy set. So that would be important.
It would be so healthy. It would be so healthy.
It'd be great. I'm curious, what is the basis of a good crafty for you? Or does it just not matter?
No, crafties matter. The crafty is like, it's not the reason that we act, but it feels like it sometimes. Like we're always just like, you want to go to crafty? You want to go to crafty? Let's go to crafty. And when you show up to a set that has an amazing crafty, sidebar, I just wrapped on this film right before the pandemic happened called Moxie. That will be out on Netflix in 2021. It was directed by Amy Poehler. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Congrats.
It was great. But let me tell you, Amy picks the most amazing crafty. She is like, crafty is so important. Crafty is what like keeps this set a happy place. It keeps everything so great. We had the most incredible crafty there. Also, I'm sure because we had a really large budget, it's Amy Poehler, but regardless, crafty's great. So I think what makes a great crafty is lots of milk options, right? So like for coffee and tea, like we need the soy, the almond, the coconut, the cashew, like for everyone who has their own allergy. We also need the snacks. The snack options are really good. There has to be gluten-free snacks. There has to be dairy-free snacks. There has to be like regular snacks that are like unhealthy, like Cheetos and hot Cheetos, things like that. Then there also has to be like roasted seaweed, and then there also has to be like nuts. A lot of people really like nuts. I don't like nuts. I don't want nuts ever, but a lot of people love nuts, so like nut options are really good. And then I love food. Can you see? I just got so excited.
I'm excited for you. This is amazing. I'm getting so hungry listening to you.
No, it's so good. And then there has to be like cookies and cupcakes, but then there has to be, again, like the options, like gluten-free cookies and cupcakes for the people on your set who are like gluten-free. I know on STARGIRL, 2 of my castmates, Breck Bassinger and Cameron Gelman, who play STARGIRL and Our Men, they're both diabetic, and they both have celiac, which is great because they were both like, oh, we're in this together. It wasn't like only one person.
Teammates.
But it was really great when we were able to get like a sweetener alternative gluten-free cupcakes and cookies for them. So that way, like if I ate a cookie or cup, I didn't feel bad that like I was eating it and like they couldn't have one. You know what I mean? Right. So like having the options, we had a really great crafty on the set of STARGIRL because of that. And so they would always make sure that they had options for them. So if we had pizza, we had gluten-free pizza as well. If we had cake, we had gluten-free cake. So all those things are so important.
I'm glad that the CW gave you guys a great crafty table. And I was going to ask, since you did a guest spot both on Young Sheldon as well as Shameless. One's a network show, the other is a premium. Could you tell which one had a better crafty, or were they relatively the same?
They're actually relatively the same, I think. I think I spent more time on Young Sheldon's set than I did on Shameless, so it felt like Young Sheldon's crafty just had more. But actually, no, that's not true, because my first day of Shameless, they had an amazing like ice cream truck that had came there, and they had like regular ice cream. You could get ice cream bars, like drumsticks, and then they had soft serve that you could get like you could get milkshakes, you could get like root beer floats, whatever you want, you name it, they had it. And so Shameless provided that, and I was like, do you guys do this every day? And I feel like they do. Like they just have an insane budget, or had an insane budget. But yeah, I would say both are really, really great though.
Wow. Well, I need to get on some sets. Maybe I chose the wrong career path, but it's always great. I'm going to be getting most of that food when we're done here. Moving on to current projects, which we've started to allude to with STARGIRL. as well as one I just watched. I don't know how current, I didn't get the date on it, but I just saw in association with Dove, you did The Girls Room, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And I guess I want to talk about women empowerment now, as I think both The Girls Room and Stargirl are two great examples of us advancing in entertainment and showing the power that women have on screen and in these massive roles. And I wanted kind of your take on it. How does it feel to be a part of both of those projects?
So great. So great. You said Girls Room and Stargirl, right? Just want to make sure I got that right. Yes. So all of those are I'm so incredibly honored and very proud of the work that I did on both of those series. Girls Room, I think, was so special to me because I've never worked in a cast of all women of color. So that was really special. You know, in Stargirl, I'm not the only person of color, but I'm the only Black woman there. On Girls Room, we all were. So that was really, really great and new and something that we've never done before. It was written by a Black woman, directed by a Black woman. I mean, hair, makeup, wardrobe, everything. It was all Black women ran. And so it was really special that Dove gave us a platform to create a show like that, which also, thank you. We won Tribeca for Best Series. So exciting. So I also am really passionate about women empowerment in general. So I think it is starting to show up in my work. Like it's manifesting in that as well. Like everything I did was like a girl something. It was Tall Girl, then it was Stargirl, then it was Girls Room. And I got to just be a part of those things that are just really showcasing women in such a strong, intelligent, empowering, and supportive light. I think I love being a part of the projects more so because both of these series have shown women supporting women. Like I'm really tired of seeing women tearing down each other because that's not what my real life looks like. And I just don't think that that's reality for most women. I think women naturally do support women. And so I'm really grateful that I get to be a part of young, fresh shows made for young audiences that lift women. So
they're spectacular, and I enjoy watching them. And I got to ask now specifically about Stargirl. I love the power that you have currently. And your episode last week, you got introduced to being the most intelligent person in the world, basically. So I was curious, would you hold on to that, or have you been like, wow, I wish I could trade with one of my castmates for their superpowers?
Nope, I would hold on to my goggles. Me and Chuck, any day, every day. I love it. I'm biased, but I love it. I love it.
I think it has opened up a new realm for me in terms of like, it's easy for me to be like, I wish I was the fastest man alive, like the Flash, or I could fly like Superman. But I got to tell you, just watching that episode, the amount of knowledge that just floods you. I wish I had that. I wasn't the greatest student growing up. And I know your character already was a 4.0 person. So I definitely could use those goggles. Your character, an absolute genius.
Yeah, we could all use Beth's goggles. Someone just asked me in a different interview the other day. Well, I don't know, maybe you're going to ask that, but I'll answer it for you in case you were. But someone asked me if I had, Dr. Midnight's goggles in real life, what would I do with them? And I was like, oh, that's so easy. I would hack into the United States government and I would celebrate moving all of the budget for the United States around, and I would fund teachers and hospitals, and I would house all the homeless and feed all of the hungry, and it would be a great world. That's what I would do.
Amazing. That's perfect. And I'm glad it's great. I don't know if I've ever seen it on interview, so I'm actually happy to potentially be the first. You asked your own question, answered it, and I loved every bit of it. It was a great question and answer. It's almost like I'll hop off the screen here, but no, I just wanted to share that. I would keep the goggles and I would do good in real life too. That would be amazing. I mean, both my parents were teachers, so they would love a little bit more love for teachers. But no, that's fantastic. Our last question is always miscellaneous, but we're going to keep it a little bit tied in to superheroes. This is somewhat similar to what I just asked, but I know there's a bunch of other superpowers, the ability to teleport, there's the ability to do other stuff. If I took away your goggles, what would have been the traditional answer from you for a superpower you wish I could give you when you leave this interview today? Oh, I would choose the power to heal. Oh, that's a good day. God, you're so caring about everybody. I love people. You're making me seem so selfish. No, I would choose the power to heal. I think in the world, just in general, like I always just
got so emotional. I'm a really like empathetic person. So I feel like I feel people's energy. I feel when people are sad. I feel when people are excited. I feel everything. So I would love to just like touch someone like Jesus and just say thank you and like heal them. Like that's what I would love to do.
Yeah, that again, like I said, just I feel so selfish now. I would want the ability to
What's
teleport.
yours?
It's just
Teleport.
especially being in
Great.
LA, because I cannot stand traffic to begin
Yes.
with. But even longer distances. So my family's in Chicago, so I'd love to be able to just go in and out of there.
Right.
But
That's a great one.
I should have said healing. I should be more for the people.
No, you're fine. It's okay. It's a great one. Teleporting is great. So you picked a good one.
And to wrap up this segment, what would be your theme song? Like, I don't know why, but I was listening to Big Sean today, and Move, his song in like 2016, I think it would be mine. Yes. I would love to just like burst through a door with that.
Love that. Love Big Sean. Funny that you say that. I've been to every concert Big Sean has had in LA in the last 5 years.
Wow.
So
I'm very jealous of
point that out. No, I love Big Sean. Gosh. Okay, well, sticking with that, if it was Big Sean, I would pick, what is like one of my favorite Big Sean songs? Probably Fire. It's not from his Finally Famous album.
Which is I go beginning to end on that album every time. And I rarely do that without, love it.
Same. I love that album. It is my favorite Big Sean album. I mean, I really loved I Decided, and Dark Sky Paradise, but Finally Famous. Like when I think of Big Sean, I think of that. And this is how we know we've been Big Sean fans since day one. People are like, what is Finally Famous? I don't even know. I'm like, you don't know? Such a good album.
That's the first time I felt old, though, when like somebody doesn't know Finally Famous. And I'm realizing like Man on the Moon's like along that age. Like we're going to start getting to the point where those albums are not what people know of from Kid Cudi or Big Sean or some other artists we like. So, but that would be an awesome soundtrack just for a superhero moment or my superhero life. So I'm glad that's what we got to. Love Big Sean. Hopefully he hears this at some point.
Love it.
So this is going to be the Moonshot. I'm excited to bring him on. Here comes our guest to talk to Anjelika today. He should be coming on right about now. This is Guy Smith, Anjelika. He is here to ask you a question. He's super excited to meet you, Anjelika. Guy Smith, Anjelika.
Hi, Guy. How are you?
Hey, look good. Big fan of yours.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It's so nice to meet you. This is so cool.
Love your character. Your show's lit. It's like really lit.
Thank you so much. I love Beth, and I'm just so grateful that people love her too, and that you're watching. That's so fun. And I love your hat. This is so cool. I love it.
Hey, well, I try.
I was going to say, spectacular hat, sir.
For you.
Absolutely.
Spectacular.
So my question is, like, is this like your first superhero role? It's like, so, and also, what's it like to play a superhero in like a superhero show?
Great questions. This is my first time playing a superhero on a superhero show, but I've actually been on 2 superhero shows before this. One that nobody really knows of. It was an Amazon pilot that did not get picked up called The Legend of Master Legend. And it was about the real life registered superhero of the United States called Master Legend, which I met him. He came and it was really awesome. It was played by John Hawkes, and I played his daughter in that. And so on that show, my dad was the superhero, right? And it was like about this world. My dad was superhero, this whole thing. That was really fun. Didn't get picked up, so people didn't really see it. And then I guest starred on 2 episodes of Marvel's Runaways. So that was really cool because I got to watch them in action, and like not even knowingly that like exactly a year later I was going to be a superhero on my own show. So so it's my first time being a superhero on my own show, and it's really great. You asked me a second part of the question. What was it?
So like, I tell like this is like your first time like playing that superhero.
Right. You asked what was it like? It's great. You know what? The hours are really long, and it's always late at night. The night shoots are predominantly what we do because we can't save the world during the day, you know?
I know.
So it's mostly at night, which is great. So I'm used to like the 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. type of life, which is great. It's really hard to get back in the regular world and being up with the sun, but it's been nice. I think it's going to be harder to go back. I hope we don't have a season 2 yet, but I hope we get a season 2. And if we do,
so
I'm like,
too.
I hope
love
so.
that
I'm thinking, me too. I love it so much, but I'm thinking about the transition of like the world now and trying to go back to waking up at like 4 p.m. to be there at 5 to, you know what I mean? To do that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love the green screen work. I love my super suit. I love my cast. I love the team of the JSA and working together, which you guys will get to see. Episode 6, which is out today on DC Universe and tomorrow on CW, will be the first time the JSA is together in their super suits. And so it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I just watched that episode. That was really good. Y'all did
Did?
really good. And
Yay,
I heard
I'm sorry.
your capes was really heavy.
The capes are so heavy. Oh my goodness.
So, thank you so much, Guy Smith, for coming on. That was great. Those were some awesome questions. So most podcasts, I'm sure you've been on some, and I'm sure you do interviews. The outros are always so bland, so usually the same. That I wanted to try something new on this show. Last week was the first time the guest got the question wrong. We give you a multiple choice question. It's only going to be two. There's only 2 possible answers. So 50-50 shot here. If you get it wrong, it becomes the Anjelika show and you do the outro and we sign off. If you get it right, I'll do a typical one for everybody. So the question today, we'll keep it superhero themed. Who is the superhero I wished I could be growing up? Is it A, The Flash, or B, Batman?
Wait,
yeah.
what?
So you're picking who I would want to be.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I thought. I'm gonna say Batman.
Ooh, unfortunately, I was always a Flash guy. As an athlete, I always wish I was the fastest guy on the field. So Anjelika, for the 2nd week in a row, I'm happy to say you get to do the outro. Tell all our fans whatever you want to say, however you want to end it. You can name the show anything you want to name it from here on out, but it is your outro to give, my friend.
Okay, wait. Do you want me to say lines? Look at me, I'm such an actor. I'm like, there's nothing specific.
All improv. Pretend you're at Gromlings doing an improv. Like, thank you so much for coming today. This was the Anjelika show. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Anything along those lines.
Oh, I love that.
This is
great.
your outro.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening today. And thank you, Guy, for coming on and being an awesome fan and being so kind and with awesome questions. Thank you, Ethan. You are so dope. This podcast is amazing. Everyone better be listening to it. Every new episode, every time, because it rocks. I'm so happy and grateful I got to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please watch STARGIRL on the CW on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Love ya.
Sweet. See you guys.
I took a bus,